Well, today's episode is gonna be a little different. If you can guess right now, I'm in the back seat. I'm in the front seat of my car, or so. I decided to do this early in the morning because last night I was unable to do this episode due to my tiredness from my regular day job. So, on this particular episode, we're only going to focus on New Japan Pro Wrestling with the A block matches for the G1. However, there are other matches that they put in, preview matches, but we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the 4 matches involve the A block. And then, of course, we jump gears to AEW Collision, where we have the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line, defending by FTR, taking on 2 big men, Brian Cage and Big Bill. The TBS titles on the line, and of course the Real World Championship will be defended as well. And of course we got a couple of news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. I know this little thing right here, me in the car, is a little ridiculous, but I have no other choice because I want to do this as soon as possible. If you guys are new, welcome. Hope you guys can subscribe to our channel to enjoy every review we throw in here. If you like this episode, give us a like or a comment down below. So now let's get started with our very first review. We have New Japan Pro Wrestling with G1. Now, I did mention before, we're only going to focus on the A block matches. They only have these in this particular one. This kind of announced who will be advancing further into the next round. We do have a couple of preview matches involving for the next day, but we're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on these particular 4 matches. Now, our very first one, we have Yota Tsuji taking on Gabe Kidd. Now, we see Yota Tsuji coming out into the ramp, but he was viciously attacked by Gabe Kidd. Now, when we thought, we're like, of course this was going to happen. It's Gabe Kidd. He would stop at nothing to beat up his opponents, to prove a point, saying that he is the future ace of New Japan. However, when he saw very close lookly to who we thought was Yota Tsuji, it was someone else, a lookalike. Of course, Tsuji was right behind him. No one seems to know who this guy is. They all thought that maybe he was just another young lion playing mind games, but we didn't know. But I'll get to that in a bit. I have to say, Yota Tsuji, he put up a really good fight against Gabe Kidd. Now, Gabe Kidd, who is like power hungry, saying that I don't give an F, I will kill you. This is my time. I'm the real future ace. However, that didn't end it until he got speared by Yota Tsuji. Now, according to post-match comments by Gabe Kidd, he said he doesn't give a damn about the wins and losses. The only thing that matters is that he believes he is the future ace of New Japan. Now, this has happened during the 3rd match involving Sonata and Chase Owens, but let me get to this part. According to Chris Carlton, he got the scoop on the lookalike. It turned out that the lookalike, Yota Tsuji, is in fact his identical twin brother. Now, I know what you're saying is like, what? You gotta be kidding me. Yes. The guy who was there, that was Yota Tsuji's identical twin brother. Ironically, his name is Shota, from my understanding online and of course on social media. So basically, this is Shota Tsuji, Yota Tsuji's identical twin brother. I mean, they do look alike, but it was rather strange because when I saw this thing, I was like, Yota Tsuji looked like he lost weight or something, but it was in fact his identical twin brother. So no one knew that he had a brother, but it was a good way. I have to say it was a smart move from Tsuji to outsmart Gabe Kidd, but that's how it goes. But however, in the point system, let's talk about that right now. Yota Tsuji has walked away with 7 points. I think he has 2 draws and 2 wins. I believe 1 win. I don't. 2 wins. No, 3 wins. No, 2 draws. I lost count. So anyway, Gabe Kidd with 5. But automatically, I don't think these guys are going to make it through into the finals. Now, our next match, we have Ren Narita versus Kaito Kiyomiya. Now, this is a very crucial match. If Kaito Kiyomiya wins, he proceeds to the next round completely, and of course, Ren Narita will be out. But this was a very tough battle. Keep in mind, Kiyomiya, who came from All Japan Pro Wrestling, Pro Wrestling Noah, my bad, has been trying to make expectations to be part of this whole tournament. But however, it was Ren Narita who picked up the win, just like that, by applying a Cobra twist onto Kaito Kiyomiya. This was surprising. However, Kaito Kiyomiya is already out of the tournament, but that the G1 doesn't end there right now until they make their final matches. Now, our next match, we have Chase Owens versus Sanada. Now, Chase Owens has been looking forward to it. Even Sanada has also been looking forward to this match. Not because of what happened last year. Now, if you guys remember, Chase Owens pulled up an upset victory when he defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi. That was something that was talked about. However, the obvious thing is this. If he defeats Sanada, he can actually challenge for the IWGP World Heavyweight title in the future. So that could put that in his back pocket if he wins. However, you know Sanada will be paying attention. But the one thing that Sanada needs to be aware of is his arm. He actually got hurt in a previous match, and that could cause a problem. But however, he did put up a good fight against Chase Owens. He then first applied the Shining Wizard, then the Deadfall to proceed. Now, however, Sanada is currently undefeated with 7-0 from what I can tell. Basically, he only has 14 points, so automatically he is still alive. This does not affect him one way or the other. Now, our main event features Shota Umino and Hikuleo. This is something good. Now, we know there's Shota Umino and, of course, Hikuleo, but it was a pretty good match. Now, I know that Shota Umino might have been the fan favorite in this particular match, but it was Hikuleo who seems like he had the much better upper hand. I was surprised what he can do. However, he did apply a Godsend event, the Godsend, aka the choke slam, onto him to pick up the win. But automatically, he, according to, from my understanding, he is still alive and he will proceed into the next round of the G1. However, I think this is where now Shota Umino is done. So this is going to be great. Now, in the post-match comment, in the post-match promo, apparently Hikuleo saying that this will be his year, his time in New Japan, proceeding to the top. So we'll see what happens. Now, the next G1 will feature, I think, matches from the B block. And the one I'm mostly looking for is, in fact, Will Ospreay versus El Phantasmo. So we'll get to that. So right now, let's just end it right here and move on with AEW Collision. Okay, well, it's kind of hot in here wearing this dang lightweight sweater. We got AEW Collision. Now, it opened up with the AEW World Tag Team titles on the line. We have the number 1 contenders, Brian Cage and Big Bill, taking on FTR. Now, I have to say, this is one of the toughest challenges that FTR got themselves into. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing. Sometimes champions like these deserve to have a big challenge. Don't get me wrong, they're facing against 2 big guys. Now, the only difference with this is that, of course, Brian Cage can do high-flying stuff outside the ring for a guy of his size. People say that's unnatural. Well, he may be an unnatural guy, but that's who he is. But it was a big challenge for them. I mean, they many times tried to apply the big rig on a Big Bill, but that kind of failed on them. But until they were able to do it, they applied it, and just like that, did retain the titles. However, as you know, FTR are one of the current top tag teams in the world. So the obvious question is, where do they go from here? However, apparently they have some unfinished business with what particular tag team, and that tag team is none other than the Young Bucks. Now, we known their history for many years, trying to prove who is the best tag team in the world, and I think this is where it says. However, the big surprisingly is FTR did say that they want to put their tag titles on the line in Wembley Stadium against the Bucks. That could be one big match for them. So we'll see how that goes. So the obvious thing is, what will the Bucks say in response? We'll find out. I wouldn't be surprised if they make the announcement on Wednesday on Dynamite. Now, the TBS title is on the line. We have, of course, Mercedes Martinez taking on Chris Statlander. Now, this match was initially announced after Mercedes Martinez won her match recently, and of course, I forgot who was the opponent. Oh yeah, with Kiera Hogan. However, Chris Statlander came out to make the save, and then of course, out of nowhere, Martinez attacked him from behind, and then here comes Will Nightingale, who decided to save the day. However, it was later announced on Rampage that this match was going to happen, that the title will be on the line. However, the obvious question did tell how this was going to go. I have to say it was a pretty good challenge for Chris Statlander, but she was able to pick up the victory when she applied a bridge onto Martinez. But Martinez was not happy with the results of how she lost. Then here comes Diamante. We have no clue what she was doing. And then, of course, she teams up with Mercedes, attacking Statlander. But out of nowhere, Nightingale shows up to save the day. I wouldn't be surprised at some point we will have the tag match with Nightingale and Statlander taking on Martinez and Diamante. That is something we probably will expect. Now, recently we saw in Dynamite a brand new AEW Women's World Champion. However, Toni Storm seems like she's losing it, knowing that she lost the title. So basically, she didn't know what to say, or she just assumed what Tony Schiavone was gonna ask. I don't know. So basically, that kind of turned into. Excuse me. Okay. Much better. Oh, fuck. Anyway. So basically, he just left stunned. Now, our next match, we can call this one a squash match. We have Samoa Joe taking on Serpentico. This match ended with a chokehold. However, much like the Bucks and FTR, their saga continues. It appears the saga with Samoa Joe and CM Punk will continue, but this one is a rather good one. Apparently, Samoa Joe wants to have this match with Punk at Wembley Stadium. So basically, this is going to be a very good match to watch as well in Wembley Stadium. So we'll see how that goes. Now, Andrade put out a pretty good video saying that he finally obtained the match that was taken from him. So the obvious question is, where do we go from there? Now, our next interview is the Acclaim. Now, Tony Schiavone had a nice sit down with the Acclaim talking about Billy Gunn. So the Acclaim said that they have managed to talk to Billy Gunn, and they said that Billy felt responsible for the loss of the tag titles and that he was unable to obtain the trios titles. But the Acclaim never saw it that way. They felt that they failed Billy. So basically, it's more like, either they blame each other. But of course, the Acclaim said that they'll carry Billy's boots till the end of time to show their appreciation no matter what. So I have to say that's a pretty good storyline to tell. Now, our next match is the AEW World Trios titles. We have the House of Black taking on Darius Martin, Andrade, and of course Lee Johnson. Now, you could say it's going to be a good match because of the high spots from, of course, we're going to see. That was a pretty good, but however, I had a feeling that this match was definitely going to go straight with the House of Black no matter what until Brody King picked up the weight on Darius Martin. So that kind of ended right there for them. Now, our next interview, we have Hobbs. Now, it appears that things are not looking good for QT and his QT TV jerkweeds. However, QT is trying to find a way to bring peace with Hobbs after what happened in recent times. So the obvious question is he able to succeed it? Well, we don't know, but we'll find out as soon as enough on that. Now, our next match is Christian Cage. He had his daughter with him, but once again, he continues to say that, to attack Darby Allin in every aspect and try to say that he's currently distracted by the sudden appearances of Swerve and, of course, AR Fox. So he feels that he's not focused in all this stuff. But of course, he makes insults about other things. So we'll see what happens, what Darby would say. Now, Jay White has a match against Metalik. You're probably going to think there's going to be a good match in this particular one. Of course, Nigel McGuinness even invites the Ass Boys to be a part of the commentary, which they did. But you probably can guess this match ended with Switchblade with the Blade Runner, and it kind of did. Now, this coming Wednesday, we're going to see Anna Jay take on Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's World Title. Now, Anna Jay put out this video saying that the only reason she lost to Shida was because she believes that Shida took advantage of her rookiness. I don't think so. The problem was, Anna Jay was barely coming out, trying to find herself, but she's confident enough to believe that she will walk out this Wednesday as the new AEW Women's World Champion. But we'll see when we get there. Now, our main event is the Real World Championship. First things first, the special enforcer, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, appears. And we see Ricky Starks versus CM Punk. I have to say, pretty good match. It does tell the story how Ricky is so desperate to try to be at the top. That's always been the thing. But however, we always had I had a feeling that something was going to go a little interesting when the referee was out. Ricky tried to use the ring ropes to get out, but it didn't help. Ricky did try to, Starks was trying to use the ropes, and of course, Steamboat tried to use that, try to stop that. But it was, of course, CM Punk that pinned Ricky Starks 1, 2, 3 to retain the Real World title. However, Starks was not happy, but he decided to viciously attack Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. But Punk was not happy with the results of that completely incident. So we'll see what happens until then when we get to the next Collision next week. But it was announced that CM Punk and FTR will team up to take on the House of Blacks. And and this is very interesting, we have the AEW World Trios titles on the line on that particular day. So we'll see what happens until then. But right now, let's move on to our final thing, which is news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. So you may have heard the word going out. If not, then this is a very interesting update that's been going on. Kip Sabian has re-signed with AEW. Now, this was news to me, and I don't know if this is new for any of you who followed this, but it's been appeared that he's re-signed. Now, there is still no word, or it's still not detailed or specific on how long his extension is with AEW, but I have to say, Kip Sabian is one of those wrestlers that we still need to see more of him, but I'm sure we will see that in the future. Now, our next update, as you know, we continue with more announcements for the All-Star Junior Festival USA that will be taking place soon on the 19th of August. They announced a wrestler from CML named Fugas, I think that's his name, to be participating. I don't know who this guy is, but hopefully he can impress many of us when we see him. Now, if you guys remember clearly, for the high-intensity event by House of Glory, they announced 2 new wrestlers involved for the Suicidal 6-way match. We have Nolo Kitano and a guy named Raheem Royal. Now, I don't know who Raheem Royal is, but Nolo, I am familiarized with them, so we will be seeing a very crazy match. Recently, as you know, Kiyomiya is no longer continuing with the G1 because he's out, Kenoh has always had some opinions towards him, like saying that he's a lousy wrestler, he's a fake wrestler. But apparently, because of him not winning the G1, he had this to say: Kiyomiya dropped out of the G1. It would be great if I could show that I made it through the N1 and won the final at the Edion Arena Osaka, where he lost, and then I arrogantly criticized him from time to time. Now, this was not the first time that Kenoh and Kiyomiya has always have opinions towards each other, but it's kind of interesting to hear that from him. Now, West Coast Pro announced for the West Coast Cup that will take place later on the 11th of this month. There's going to be the West Coast title will be defended. Titus Alexander defends his title against Kevin Knight. So this is going to be interesting. Now, the thing is, I don't know the indication of this one, because recently Titus Alexander has been announced that he will be heading to Japan to participate in the exchange with Marvelous. So I don't know if this is where he has to drop the title or so, but we'll see what happens. Now, the biggest news has recently came out. There's been word that KAIRI Sane is now set to return to WWE. Now, if you guys remember, she was feeling homesick, unhappy back in 2021. But in 2022, that's when the rumors were circulating of her return to Japan. But she has spent her time in Japan as an ambassador to try to get the wrestling scene in Japan to be on board with WWE. But so far, that hasn't done any good for them ever since then. However, apparently because of this announcement, her final match in Stardom was in June 25th, where she teamed up with Natsupoi and Tam Nakano. But she did say something about them. Wherever I go, I will continue to watch over the two of you. Now, it seems like she still has some strong feelings towards Tam and Natsupoi as friends, but I know Tam would like to have another match with her to right justice over the loss that she had earlier this year at the Tokyo Dome. But she had recently appeared earlier this month for the Surrealism event, where, of course, Saray had her own produced show, and she and KAIRI actually teamed up, and they won. But she is set to schedule in, of course, for the big show in Sendai Girls, along with Natsupoi and the Suri. So there's still no indications what that event's going to be, but it's still unclear when will that happen. I'm going to speculate at this point that maybe we will see her making more appearances in Japan, but we just don't know when or where. So we'll find out what's going to happen down the line. I think that's pretty much it for now with our news updates. So let's just call it. Okay. So for our next episode, we're going to feature more of the G1. I believe we have only going to focus on the B block matches. I don't know what else we're going to have. Oh yeah, we have the Gambari show that took place recently, and if there's any other events, there it is. For a long while, I haven't done a special episode. There's going to be a special episode involving review matches. Most of them are from the Evolution Girls event. I will explain that more about that at some other point. I think that's pretty much it for now, but I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.